We found my father doing strange things.
My name is Hannah. I'm 20 years old, and I live in a modest, working-class neighborhood in a city that has no luxury or glamour, but it does have warm people and the smell of fresh bread drifting through every street. Our house is small, but full of love and laughter, especially on Sunday mornings when we all gather for breakfast and listen to the old songs my dad loves. My dad is a kind man, a simple dock worker at the harbor. He always comes home tired, but smiling. My mom is incredibly caring, always worried about me and my siblings. She constantly warns me, "Hannah, my daughter, the world isn't safe anymore. Always be careful." I used to smile and think to myself, why all this fear? Not everyone is bad. I lived a simple life. I woke up early, took the bus to college, listened to music, laughed with my friends, and dreamed of finishing my studies and becoming a teacher. I believed my life was just beginning and that with effort and good intentions, anything was possible. Our neighbors were part of my daily life. Women sitting on their porches, baking bread, kids playing in the street, and some faces I never paid much attention to, like Mr. Miller, our elderly neighbor. I saw him every day sitting on his old wooden chair in front of his house, watching people pass. Sometimes he was quiet, sometimes talkative. I never gave him much thought. I'd just tell myself, he's an old man, God help him. I had no idea this man would become the reason for a major turning point in my life, one that would show me the other face of the world, the face I never wanted to see. Mr. Miller had a strange habit. He placed his chair right at the doorway and sat there all day. Whenever a woman or a young girl passed, he stared, sometimes smiled oddly, sometimes made comments. I found him uncomfortable, even though he was old. At first, I thought age had affected his mind. I felt pity for him. Everything changed after an incident that remains carved into my memory, something I can never forget as long as I live. As neighbors, it was normal for him to visit our house, sit with my dad, and share coffee. I was naive back then, a girl still discovering life, dreaming of the future, starting each day like a blank page. I didn't know fate was writing a story that would change me from the inside and teach me lessons that only pain can teach. Mr. Miller had lived next to us for years. An elderly man with a wrinkled face and a shaky voice, but with a strange, lingering strength, like someone refusing to admit he'd grown old. People in the neighborhood used to respect him. He had once worked in administration and held status, but after retirement, his days became empty and he changed. Every morning, he sat on that wooden chair, waiting for people to pass. Sometimes he greeted them. Sometimes joked, sometimes said things that made girls uncomfortable. People laughed it off, saying, "Here goes Mr. Miller again." But deep down, many felt uneasy. My mom always warned me, "Don't stop in front of him too much. God knows what's in his head." I'd reply casually, "Mom, he's just an old man. He won't do anything." She'd look up and say, "Old doesn't always mean wise, my daughter." I didn't understand her words until that day. I grew up in a home where doors were always open, where guests were family, and trust was natural. That's how I saw Mr. Miller. He knew my dad, drank coffee with him, talked about the old days. He visited often, especially when my dad discussed politics and the past. I would serve them tea, smile, and join the conversation. He always spoke kindly to me. "God bless you, Hannah. You're polite and well-raised, just like your mother." He seemed harmless. I never sensed danger. I thought of him like a grandfather. He's my dad's age. What could he do? I didn't know that blind trust can sometimes be more dangerous than open hostility. My mom felt something was wrong. She warned me seriously. "Hannah, don't stay alone in the living room if he's here." I laughed it off until the day my life changed. It started like any ordinary day. My mom went to visit my aunt. My dad went to work. I stayed home alone. The house was unusually quiet. I decided to rest in the living room, listen to music, and make tea. I didn't know that the calm I felt was the calm before the storm. I heard a light knock on the door. I went to check. It was Mr. Miller. He said gently, "Hannah, your dad asked me to drop off some papers. Is he home?" I replied innocently, "No, he's out, but you can leave them with me." He handed me the papers and left. Later, I lay down and fell asleep without realizing how exhausted I was. While I was asleep in the living room, I suddenly felt someone touching me. I woke up terrified to find Mr. Miller's hand on my body. I froze. I didn't know what to do. I asked him, shaking, "What are you doing?" I tried to scream. He whispered, "Don't be scared. I'm just doing what I should have done a long time ago." At that exact moment, my dad walked in. I didn't know whether to scream, run, or pretend nothing was happening. I just wanted the moment to end. That day left a wound that never healed, not just in my trust in people, but in my sense of safety. My dad didn't understand what had happened. Everything happened too fast. I tried to speak. "Dad, I didn't do anything, I swear." But my voice broke. He didn't listen. He shouted, "Get out of my sight. I have no daughter." The words crushed me. I watched him hold his face and say, "God forgive me, what did I raise?" Mr. Miller left without saying a word. I stood there in shock. From that day on, everything changed. Our warm home became cold and silent. People talked, eyes followed me. I felt like a stranger in my own neighborhood, even in my own family. I lived torn between anger at the injustice and guilt for not being careful, for not listening to my mother. Every night I replayed the moment, asking myself, where did I go wrong? Fear settled inside me. I lost trust in everyone, even in myself. But deep down, a small voice whispered, "Don't stay silent. Don't let injustice bury you." Time passed. The wound remained, but it taught me harsh lessons. I learned that silence never protects us, and that when girls are raised to fear scandal more than injustice, they end up carrying the burden alone. I returned to my studies, step by step. I faced the stairs and told myself, I am not a criminal. I am a survivor. I worked on myself, my mind, my faith, my future. Today, I share my story not for pity, but so every girl knows caution is not weakness. Awareness is protection. Not every old man deserves trust. Not every neighbor is safe. Your voice is your strength. Silence was never salvation. Protect yourself before regret becomes permanent.